Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, March 25th. Quite a chilly morning here in the northeastern part of the nation, and the U.S. as a whole continues to get cold air outbreaks from Canada into the U.S. It looks like that pattern will continue right into the month of April, and whenever you get cold air outbreaks this time of the year, that really ensures two different aspects of the weather. One, continuation of the threat of accumulating snow across the northern U.S. Indeed, we have another snowstorm today to deal with across the northern plains. And two, you continue to get a highly active weather pattern that can lead to some severe weather outbreaks. And in fact, this particular cold air outbreak raises a chance for some severe weather later on tonight into the morning hours on Tuesday across the Mississippi Valley and parts of the Deep South. And we'll get into both aspects of the weather here over the next several minutes. Again, a continuation of cold air outbreaks right into the month of April. This is a snowfall forecast map from last night's 0Z run of the GFS for the next 72 hours between this morning, Monday morning, and Thursday morning. And here is the main action area right here across much of the northern plains. It really extends all the way back to the Colorado Rockies here. Several inches of snow, perhaps even a foot or more in some portions of Minnesota and the upper part of Wisconsin. By the way, the Sierra Nevada mountain range, eastern California, continues to get hit with significant snowfall, and they will again over the next 72 hours. Nothing showing up here in the northeastern states for the next few days. However, they got hit hard. Upstate New York, northern New England during the past weekend, which turned out to be a healthy rainstorm for the I-95 corridor region of the Mid-Atlantic region. But a lot of snow on the ground in this part of the northeastern U.S. and the northern plains, which had very little snow during the winter, getting pounded in back-to-back storms here. And again, 6 to 12, maybe more than a foot in some areas across the northern plains. Well, the other aspect to that impact by cold air outbreaks, severe weather. Certainly this time of the year, March and April, anytime you continue to get that cold air influx from the north and west, it will interact with increasingly warm and humid air flowing out of the Gulf of Mexico northward into the Mississippi Valley, and that is the perfect scenario for some severe weather, and that is to set up for later on this evening into the overnight hours and probably into the morning hours on Tuesday in this part of the nation, really the lower middle Mississippi Valley region, but specifically a threat for some severe weather across places like Louisiana, Mississippi, and the southeastern part of Arkansas. But really be on the lookout for severe thunderstorm activity across much of the Mississippi Valley. Again, beginning later on this evening, continuing into the overnight hours and into the day on Tuesday. This is the forecast map by the NOAA's Storm Prediction Center for the probability of severe weather tomorrow on Tuesday. And it shifts a little bit to the east, to the Ohio Valley, weakens a little bit, but nonetheless it could be some isolated severe weather on Tuesday across the Ohio Valley. But for today, be focused on the lower and middle Mississippi Valley. Again, when I say today, I really mean this evening into the overnight hours. Well, let's walk through the temperature pattern here. We're looking at 850 millibar temperature anomalies from last night's 0Z run of the GFS. And again, we will see a continuation of these cold air outbreaks right into the month of April. Starting off today, above normal temperatures across much of the Midwest, Great Lakes region. And here comes that cold blast charging to the south and east. And again, it sets up that clash zone, that battle zone, in this particular case across the lower and Mississippi Valley region. Let's move forward here, and here we go into the evening hours, and here's that boundary at 850 millibars moving to the east with warmer than normal air to the east, colder than normal air to the west, and hence your battle zone region right here. And again, we'll see with the surface maps there's an influx of warm and humid air right out of the Gulf into the Mississippi Valley. Now let's move forward here. This cold shot slowly pushes to the east over the next couple of days. This is now the midweek forecast map, and here's that front lying right in the Ohio Valley as of a Wednesday morning, sliding towards the eastern seaboard, still above normal conditions, especially over New England as we begin the day on Wednesday. And that frontal system slowly works its way off the coast. Colder than normal air reaches the eastern third of the nation by later Thursday, going into the day on Friday. And we'll just kind of quickly walk through the next several days beyond. Here we are on Easter weekend now. This is Easter morning on Sunday morning. Looks like could be a cold blast across much of the Great Lakes and northeastern part of the nation. Warmer than normal down across the south central U.S. And we'll just go a little farther in time, and indeed more cold air outbreaks. This is now all the way into the middle part of next week. This is next Wednesday, April the 3rd. Continuation of those cold air outbreaks from Canada into the U.S. and unquestionably this will cause some more snow across the northern states and probably some more severe weather next week across the deep south. Well, let's take a look at the vorticity map sequence here from the 0Z run of the GFS, and here's a pretty deep upper level trough contributing to that severe weather threat across the lower and middle Mississippi Valley region. This is sliding slowly to the east, and here we go again. You have not only this upper level jet streak or rotation in the atmosphere aloft, which causes upward motion at the surface, you have the temperature pattern that you need for severe weather possibilities down in the Mississippi Valley region. Colder air to the north and west charging to the south and east and interacting with the warm humid air coming out of the Gulf into the Mississippi Valley region. This is later on this evening into the overnight hours here, an unsettled weather pattern, certainly leading to the possibility of some severe weather, especially down across Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Now, let's push forward here, and that frontal system at the surface kind of weakens a little bit as it reaches the eastern seaboard, but nonetheless, it'll tend to slow down also, and that allows for the possibility of showers to really begin late Tuesday night going into early Wednesday and perhaps continuing well into the day on Thursday, because again, that frontal system will tend to slow down as it reaches the coast. Low pressure may form right along that frontal boundary zone, and that could extend the threat of showers from Wednesday into Thursday along the Atlantic seaboard. Thursday, by the way, is opening day for Major League Baseball, so it's a concern here. Places like Philadelphia, where they open up on Thursday afternoon, a threat of showers is certainly on the table. Now, go out a little bit farther in time, and you can see a couple of waves here approaching the eastern third of the nation by late this week, and it looks like that low pressure system that does indeed form along the frontal boundary zone will push out over the western Atlantic by the end of the work week here on Friday. Go out a little farther in time, and it looks like it'll tend to be a northwesterly flow in the northeastern part of the nation this upcoming weekend. That could usher in some colder air, colder than normal air, for Easter Sunday, let's say, up across the northeastern part of the nation. Well, here are the surface maps now from the 0Z run of the GFS, and mentioned a moment ago an influx of warm and humid air right into the Mississippi Valley region. You follow these isobars here, winds tend to flow parallel to these isobars or equal lines of pressure, and when the low is out here, the frontal system out here, that means the flow is counterclockwise around the lows, and you have this kind of a pattern here, and the colder air is charging to the south and east. At the same time, warmer air is flowing northward right out of the Gulf of Mexico, kind of pumping, adding fuel to the fire here, setting the stage for the possibility of severe weather this evening into the overnight hours. In fact, let's move forward here and see what the GFS model does. And here we go. Start to get a line setting up Missouri down to Arkansas later on this afternoon. This is the evening hours. Again, this is the area of concern here. Notice the tightening of the isobar pattern. That's a kind of a tightening pressure gradient that is associated with a pretty intensifying low-level jet that adds to the instability in the atmosphere, potential for some damaging wind gusts, maybe even isolated tornadoes. And here we go into the overnight hours. extending across Mississippi, maybe Arkansas, Louisiana, all the way up into, in this particular time period, the western part of the Tennessee Valley as well. So be on the lookout later today, tonight, lower and middle Mississippi Valley and the Tennessee Valley as well. Meanwhile, up to the north, an accumulating snow event here for places like Minnesota, Wisconsin here, an early spring snowstorm, and that system moves all the way up in the south central part of Canada by the middle of the week here. And this frontal system tends to lose some punch as it arrives in the eastern U.S. at midweek. Nonetheless, there can be some shower activity anytime from late Tuesday night into the day on Wednesday, and we'll have to watch for the possibility of a low pressure system forming right here, right along that frontal boundary zone. This is the Thursday morning forecast map, and certainly is a threat for low pressure to develop along that frontal boundary zone. It tends to slow down as it reaches the eastern seaboard. That kind of allows for low pressure to form along that boundary zone, and depending on where that goes, it could throw some more rain back into the mid-Atlantic, eastern part of the mid-Atlantic region during the day on Thursday. And if it develops strongly enough, it could even cause some precipitation to linger into Thursday night, perhaps on Friday. This is currently the Friday morning forecast has it out over the western part of the Atlantic Ocean. Notice on the back side here, you have an influx of cold air pouring from the southeastern Canada all the way down to the mid-Atlantic region here as of Friday morning. And it very likely sets a stage for a rather chilly weekend across the northeastern states. This is Saturday morning, and we go into Sunday morning, Easter morning. High pressure over south central Canada kind of ensures a colder influx of air right here into at least the mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., maybe even all the way down into the Carolinas. Pretty quiet across the deep south as of Sunday morning, but another low pressure area moving towards California could cause some more snow in those higher elevation regions of the Sierra Nevada. So definitely an active weather pattern continuing for the next couple of weeks with those additional cold air outbreaks from Canada into the U.S. that ensures the likelihood for more accumulating snow across portions of the northern states, and it increases the chance for some severe weather outbreaks across the southern part of the nation. Again, specifically tonight, the lower middle Mississippi Valley, and then overnight into Tuesday morning, the Tennessee Valley has to be on the lookout as well for the possibility of some severe weather. That's it for now for ArcfieldWeather.com. This has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.